Hello MotoGP enthusiasts. Welcome back to ZNGP Today. Fabio Quartararo cut a resigned figure after a difficult weekend at the Circuit of the Americas. With Yamaha still searching for form following the switch to AV4, the factory rider admitted he's exhausted repeating the same development requests and signaled that a major upgrade is urgently needed. The weekend's bright spot was Toprak Razgatlıoğlu's strong showing for Pramac, which only underlined the gulf within Yamaha's camp. Toprak Razgatlıoğlu scored his first championship point in Austin and left the Circuit of the Americas with mixed feelings, satisfaction at progress, but concern about the size of the gap to the leaders. The Pramac Yamaha rider praised Fabio Quartararo's braking on the factory M1 while underlining how much he is still learning about MotoGP riding and the bike's behavior over race distance. Massimo Rivola offered a clear, measured read of Aprilia's position after Austin. The Noali project is validating its development choices. The team must stay level-headed despite early success, and the 2027 market is already shifting around a few marquee names. Rivola balanced pride in Aprilia's progress with caution about the long season ahead. Carlo Pernat delivered a blunt verdict after Austin. Aprilia's surge is real, KTM and its riders are dangerous, and Ducati faces a two-front problem. A rider still recovering physically and a Desma set-aside that no longer hides its weaknesses. Pernat's prescription is clear: back Marquez and Di Giannantonio, but urgently address the bike's balance. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Quartararo made it clear he stepped back from constantly pushing the team on development details. He believes he's already communicated what's required and will no longer keep repeating the same feedback. The tone was one of frustration rather than anger, a rider who feels he's done his part and now needs tangible action from the factory. They know what I've said, they know what all the riders have asked for, and that's it. When a lead rider withdraws from the development loop, it signals both fatigue and a demand for decisive engineering responses. The weekend's technical symptom was stark: sudden tire performance collapse in the closing laps. Quartararo said his pace was acceptable early on, but the rear fell away dramatically, costing him consistency and positions. That abrupt drop contrasted with Toprak's steadier tire management and highlighted setup or chassis shortcomings that still plague the M1. Sudden late-race degradation is a clear red flag for chassis-tire interaction. It's a problem that requires hardware or aerodynamic changes, not just setup tweaks. Pramac's Toprak Razgatlıoğlu impressed by becoming the first Yamaha across the line, showing a riding style and consistency that translated into race results. Quartararo praised his teammates' adaptation and smoothness, implicitly contrasting it with the factory bike's struggles. The split within Yamaha's results raises questions about whether the issue is universal to the V4 or linked to specific factory setups. He impressed me a lot. His riding style and what he's achieving is very good. Internal performance divergence can be useful diagnostically, but it also increases pressure on the factory to explain and fix the gap. Amid the technical gloom, Quartararo found respite in simple human moments, notably spending time with BMX star Nigel Sylvester. Those breaks from the paddock routine helped him disconnect and cope with the frustration of a poor weekend. It's a reminder that rider morale matters when development stalls. Mental reset and team morale are often overlooked but can be decisive when technical solutions take time. Quartararo's message is blunt: something big must change. Whether that means a substantial aerodynamic update, chassis revision, or a rethink of tire interaction, the factory needs to act. With 3 weeks until Jerez, Yamaha faces a narrow window to deliver meaningful upgrades or risk falling further behind rivals who are already extracting consistent race performance. Quartararo's resignation is both a warning and a challenge. He's done his part in diagnosing the M1's issues and now expects the factory to respond. The contrast between Toprak's encouraging form and the factory bike's decline sharpens the urgency. For Yamaha, The question is simple: deliver a tangible step forward quickly, or accept that this season will be an uphill battle. Scoring a point was a milestone for Toprak, but he was quick to temper celebration with realism. The race result showed improvement, yet the time deficit to the front, roughly 25 seconds, highlights how far Yamaha still must go. Toprak framed the weekend as a useful learning experience rather than a breakthrough. "I'm happy, but not very happy. We're 25 seconds behind, which isn't very good." For a rider transitioning from superbikes, a single point is progress. The bigger task is closing the consistent pace gap. One of Toprak's clearest takeaways was watching Quartararo's braking technique. He admitted surprise at how effectively Fabio can stop the M1 without the front locking up, a skill Toprak is still developing. That observation became a practical reference point for his own riding evolution. "I don't understand how he brakes so well on his Yamaha." Observing a teammate or rival's technique is a fast track to learning. Toprak used the weekend to study braking lines and timing. Toprak acknowledged he still rides with some superbike habits and is working to adapt to MotoGP demands, carrying more speed through corners and managing tire life differently. He followed Quartararo's lines to learn rhythm and found the race a valuable classroom for refining his style. The transition in riding philosophy is subtle but crucial. Success will depend on how quickly Toprak internalizes MotoGP braking and cornering nuances. Like many riders at Kota, Toprak felt the M1 grow heavier after 12 to 14 laps. He highlighted the universal challenge of tire and chassis behavior over race distance, reinforcing that Yamaha's development must address late race stability as much as outright pace. Race endurance and consistent feel are as important as single lap speed. Toprak's feedback mirrors broader concerns across the Yamaha camp. Toprak praised Yamaha's development efforts and expressed cautious optimism about future improvements, while admitting timelines are uncertain. He's focused on learning quickly, especially ahead of Jerez, where corner speed and rhythm will be tested. The rookie to MotoGP learning curve continues, but Toprak believes steady adaptation will pay off. "I learned a lot today. I hope I adapt quickly to this style." Patience and targeted learning will be essential. Toprak's progress will depend on both factory upgrades and his own rapid adaptation. Austin was a pragmatic step forward for Toprak Razgatlıoğlu. A first point, valuable lessons from watching Quartararo, and a clearer sense of what the M1 demands. The weekend reinforced two truths: Yamaha must deliver meaningful upgrades, and Toprak must continue evolving his riding style. Both tasks are underway, and the coming European rounds will show how quickly they translate into consistent results. Rivola stressed that Aprilia's rise is the result of a deliberate, multi-year process rather than luck. The team's technical choices and rider lineup have paid off, producing a bike that is competitive across different tracks. He warned, however, that 3 races are a small sample and that the championship remains a long test. "We knew that we were improving and finding better performance each year, so we're proud of the work done." The message is confidence tempered by realism. Celebrate progress, but avoid complacency. Rivola urged restraint about reading too much into early standings. While Aprilia sits ahead now, he argued that obsessing over the table is a mistake. Development races and calendar variety will reshape the picture. The CEO prefers to focus on process and continuous improvement rather than headline positions. That discipline, prioritizing development over short-term narratives, is often what sustains the title bid. On the 2027 market, Rivola observed that the biggest names drive early activity. Riders like Marquez and Quartararo set the tone, and others follow. Aprilia's early renewal of Marco Bezzecchi was framed as a strategic decision born from mutual trust and momentum rather than panic. When you know changes are coming and there's nothing really regulating this kind of market, then it's the strongest players who make the moves. Securing core talent early can stabilize a team and focus resources on performance rather than speculation. Rivola praised his riders while outlining areas for growth. Bezzecchi is the Sunday man who must become more consistent on Saturdays. Martin still needs a confident spark to be explosively consistent. He also noted Jorge's physical fatigue and the benefit of the upcoming break for recovery. Managing rider form across a long season is as important as technical upgrades. Rivola's comments show a dual focus on machine and human performance. Rivola acknowledged Aprilia's advantage but refused to declare the team favorites. He highlighted the importance of continued development and vigilance, for example, investigating AI Ogura's engine guard issue to prevent repeat failures. He also emphasized respect between teammates as the championship unfolds. The CEO's tone mixes ambition with operational caution, celebrate gains, but fix vulnerabilities and protect the team's momentum. Rivola's assessment is a blueprint for sustained success: validate progress, secure talent, avoid headline-driven decisions, and keep improving both bike and rider. Aprilia arrives in Europe with momentum and a clear plan, but Rivola's steady voice is a reminder that early advantage must be defended through disciplined development and smart management across a long season. Pernat framed Austin as a turning point. Aprilia's 1-2, plus Martin's sprint win, are not flukes but the result of a package and team operating in harmony. He praised Bezzecchi's confidence and Martin's resurgence, arguing that Noali's atmosphere and technical choices are producing consistent results. Bezzecchi has been stratospheric. When there's serenity and joy in a team, the results follow. Momentum breeds momentum. Aprilia's cohesion is now a competitive advantage. Pernat did not mince words about Ducati. The factory's problems are both human and technical. Marc Marquez remains visibly affected by last year's Indonesia crash, and that physical fragility compounds the GP26's handling issues. Pernat argued Ducati must prioritize support for Marquez and Di Giannantonio while simultaneously fixing the bike. Combine a difficult bike with a Marquez who isn't at 100% and the result is inevitable. When elite riders are compromised and the machine demands more from them, performance falls off quickly. Pernat highlighted Di Giannantonio's form as a reason for optimism. The Roman showed pace and resilience, but stressed that even he is limited by the GP26's balance. Bagnaya's recurring Sunday struggles underline the same pattern: strong short-term pace but unsustainable tire wear and handling that forces riders into survival mode. The contrast between qualifying speed and race durability is a recurring red flag for Borgo Panigale. Pernat praised Pedro Acosta's consistency and singled out Enea Bastianini's comeback as evidence that KTM still has untapped potential. He criticized KTM's upgrade allocation, suggesting some solutions were misapplied, and warned the Austrian factory to reassess how it distributes performance gains across its rider lineup. If I were KTM, I'd have to do some serious soul-searching. Upgrades that favor one rider can create internal imbalance and squander broader team potential. Pernat's bottom line is pragmatic. Ducati must protect and invest in its riders, particularly Marquez and Di Giannantonio, while urgently addressing the GP26's tendency to overload the rear and punish tire life. That means focused engineering work on chassis balance, braking behavior and tire interaction, alongside medical and physical support for Marquez. Short-term fixes and rider management must run in parallel, ignoring either risks deeper decline. Pernat's assessment is a wake-up call for Ducati. The season's early signs are not merely competitive variants but symptoms of structural issues. The remedy is twofold: technical surgery on the bike and concrete backing for the riders who can still deliver results. If Borgo Panigale acts decisively, the deficit can be closed. If not, Aprilia's ascent may define the championship narrative. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!